Greetings, all you maniacs, minds, and grinds, and today in Warframe, we're going to be talking about Xaku, the Broken Frame. He recently got some buffs, and they're great. So, this is going to be my overall thoughts on him. Not a complete ins and outs. I will talk about him a little bit, and I might even show some gameplay of him in a real mission. So, the buffs that he got are a little kind of minor, but very, very good buffs. They don't need to be gigantic world-changing buffs in order to make a bad frame good. They just need to be decent. They just need to be significant. Anyway, here is my 2 Forma build. I went ahead and put in 2 Forma. I put in a V and a D polarity. So, the 2 main stats that you want on Xaku is range and strength. Why? Because that's how he works. So, his 1 applies void damage. It will make like a miniature mag bubble around enemies. So that's pretty cool for projectile weapons with punch through, especially. So you can kind of play him like you would mag. You bring a projectile-based weapon that has punch through. You won't get the explosion at the end, but that's fine. So, in addition to that, Xaku, because he does void damage, you can actually use him to farm on the Cambion Drift. Those big towers that drop resources when you kill infested with void damage, your operator amp. Xaku can do that, but without using an operator. That's fantastic for people that might not have their operator unlocked yet. Can you even get Xaku without... well, you can buy him for plat. So there's that. Anyway. His 2, Grasp of Loke. This ability is great. It does a lot of damage. You can disarm quite the number of enemies in a decent radius. And the guns fire fast and they're fairly accurate. No real complaints. They even target enemies through walls. I swear that the projectiles can actually go through like small doors and things like that, which is cool. The only issue is if there's an enemy trapped in gaze, the guns will tend to shoot at the trapped enemy. I kind of wish they didn't. I kind of wish they just ignored the trapped enemy. Another little buff, that'd be nice. So gaze removes the enemy's defense. Defense is like shields and armor. Mine is up to 90%. Now, to get 100%, you need way more power strength than I do. I think you need about 200% power strength. I want to say somewhere around there. I simply can't do that because I would have to invest in another Forma. And also, I would have to get rid of something. And I wouldn't be able to unless I get rid of Prime Continuity, which I kind of don't want to. Accuse, I'm pretty sure it lifts enemies into the air or mind controls them. I don't really use it. Deny is just a void beam. Nothing real special. Now, the Vast Untime is probably the most important ability on Xaku. I'd say his 4, Gaze, and his 2 are the most important abilities. So, we need to know here, it gives you dodge chance, which makes you more survivable because you can't get hit. Issue with that, it's a chance to dodge. It's 75%, and you can't change that. Well, technically, there is the new mod set that can do that for you, but whatever. So, the explosion does 2,000 void damage. It makes the enemies weak to void damage, and it slows enemies that are affected by it that don't die. Also, it pauses the duration on abilities. That is so cool. Xaku is the first frame to ever have that kind of ability, and that's great. Also, it will open up boxes. So, 235% power range, 235% range, and the range on the guns here is only 18 meters. DE, it would not break the game to make this by default. By default, it's, what is it? the range is only 8 meters. If they bump that up to 12 meters, that wouldn't bust anything. That'd be fine. Anyway, so this is the build. So, let me show the abilities that I use most. So, I don't really need to go over as one. It gives you void damage, and the projectiles will go into, it will make a void bubble like that, and any projectile will be like sucked towards the enemy. Anyway, so it's 2. These are corrupted heavy gunners, by the way. Now, if I go ahead and just use gaze, and then I use my 4, which I actually have to get more energy because I only have 60% efficiency, and I have to. So they have 90% of their armor removed. Now, obviously, that's not 100%, but you can see how much damage this is doing. And also, you're going to be moving around and shooting the enemies too. So that's really cool. Now, there is a bit of a problem. If you don't have enough energy to cast your 3 again, you will not be able to deactivate your 3 to instantly kill that last enemy. Kind of annoying, but not that big of a problem. Now, also, his 2 will do more damage if the enemies are viral procced, of course. So that's where the Panzervolpaphyla comes in. Yet another synergy. So that's the basic premise. So I'm going to jump into a quick mission and show what he can do just solo and without any help. Now, obviously, I don't have very much efficiency, so I'm going to need to really rely on my 4, but that's not that big of a problem. So my 4 lasts 38 seconds, which is perfectly fine. That's more than enough time for me to use Zenerek and get my energy back. Alright, so we're just going to be jumping into a simple mission. This is not the steel path. I think Xaku can work the steel path, but you have to be very vigilant, and I don't feel like doing the steel path. So I'm just going to get my energy. I'm going to immediately use my 2. Also, if the enemy doesn't have a ranged weapon and you use your 2, you'll get a sphere that will do the exact same thing. So you can see that just normal level enemies, I'm just running through, and the guns are just killing everything. Now, the guns target everything, including Demolists from Disruption. So there is that to keep in mind. And of course, he's really good at opening crates and destroying traps and things like that. But yeah, again, the only problem with him is energy can be a little bit of an issue. And also, just because you can dodge projectiles doesn't mean that you should just stand in front of someone. Because if Xaku gets hit, he gets hit. And I could just clear this entire room. Shit. See that? I'm not saying that's the only reason to use this for, not anymore. But literally just one-tapping these dudes. So I'm gonna jump into another mission. Just to get some variety. I think I actually might do Steel Path. I don't know. I don't know how many people are gonna yell at me for not doing Steel Path. But here's the thing. Steel Path sucks. Not that it's hard. I don't care about that. The challenge is fine. It's just there's no point of Steel Path. Literally no point. So instead, I'm actually going to do a mission that actually matters called Apollo Disruption. I have no plans on beating this, even though I easily could. I could go for an hour of Xaku here. I don't even have the right elements set up on my primary. But instead, I just want to show you that Xaku's 2 will actually shoot at the Demolists. all I gotta do is find a group of enemies, and I can just do that, and then there we go. There's my, definitely bring energy pieces with him. So there we go. I'm already set up. He does not take long to set up, like at all. Like you literally just you cast your 2 around a group of enemies. You cast your 4. You can cast your 1 if you want. You can replace his 1 with any subsumed ability you feel is necessary or you like. And you know, and look at that. You know, these are shielded enemies too. You'd think they wouldn't die this quickly, but they do because you know Xaku's fucking 2 right now is so good. And yeah, that slow is very, very nice. It is only 45% slow with this build, but it doesn't really matter. Also, I'm pretty sure that Xaku's 4 destroys nullifiers. Like, it will destroy their bubble. So next nullifier I see, I'm going to use my 2, and we can test that. So yeah, most of the time as Xaku, you are going to be in your 4. Okay, so the Demolist is coming. Damn it. That's quite alright though. I kind of expected that. Okay. I only got 2 balls. I need to find more enemies. Luckily you can recast it. Okay, there we go. And then I need my energy because I need to do this. Again, that's the only problem that I have with Xaku, is that because his kit, you kind of have to have really high power strength. You kind of won't always have really good efficiency. And if you're doing disruption, what in the hell? I don't know what the hell is going on. The Demolists can... Okay, here's a nullifier. No, it doesn't. Damn. I could have sworn it did. When I was just playing, just casually, when I was doing disruption, I was popping nullifier bubbles like Tic Tacs. Like it wasn't no mind. But that's fine though. That's fine. An ability doesn't need to target nullifiers. Also, yeah, they have a range of 18 meters, but sometimes they don't fire that far. It's very weird. He still has problems, but as you'll see in a moment, his 2, let me just grab. Okay, I didn't really get many. The recording fucking just ceased. Why? Anyway, as I was saying, you see that? It's targeting. And yeah, pretty good. I'm gonna have to check my freaking screen recorder because it was acting really weird before I started to record. Why do the operators still eat energy orbs? That's really annoying. Anyway. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this mission. But yeah, with this build, I have more than enough time to let Zeneric recharge my energy. And I have pizzas. So, yeah, energy still is a problem. But it's not that big of a problem, really. Okay. Get wrecked. Easy peasy. I mean, this mission isn't hard. By the way, if you need Axie relics, this is the place. If you need Morphix for the helmet system, I would highly recommend Olympus on Mars, because every enemy there seems to have a chance to drop them, and the Demolists also have a good chance to drop them, as if I'm seeing that correctly. Okay. Energy drain, wonderful. It would, right? It just... No! Thank God I didn't disable any of my abilities. I mean, the Corpus are always going to be a problem because of their powers, what they can do. Okay, he's down here. You are not allowed to climb up this shit. Okay, I'm just gonna exit. Because I think you guys get the picture. Xaku works really well now. Like, he has been improved. Not a whole lot. He hasn't, like, gone through a full-blown rework. It's more of just, you know, itty-bitty little tweaks. I love the animation on the Vassal time. I think it looks cool. But small tweaks are usually all a frame needs. And more tweaks are going to be coming to Xaku. I have a feeling that that is gonna be a thing. Also, augments. What kind of augments would he have? Obviously, his one augment is probably gonna have, like, oh, you can give, you know, the entire team void damage, which will be great against Eidolons if anyone still fights Eidolons. Because I mean, why would you? They're the worst thing in the game. Easily the worst thing in the game. Anyway, this is the Xaku build I've been running. It works very well. Obviously, having more efficiency would be better. You could drop out Prime Continuity and add even more power strength, but your only real option there is either Transient Fortitude or Umbral Intensify, and neither are ideal, because Umbral Intensify, you kind of have to... I wouldn't recommend putting an Umbral form into Xaku. And Transient Fortitude gets rid of duration. And yes, duration isn't that big of a problem for Xaku, but duration on his 4 is super important. I kind of wish they would add more, they would allow his abilities to just have more duration at base. Because at base, his 4 has a duration of 25 seconds. That's fine. It would be better if it was a bit more. Or maybe he gets an augment where every so many kills with your abilities, you gain, I don't know, 1-2 seconds more duration on your 4. That would be fantastic. That would make Xaku insane, because you would never need to cast your abilities again. You would literally never need to use energy. That would be fantastic. Well, I shouldn't say that. I know there's some people that would love to use his gaze ability way more. Me personally, it's good, but it feels like it's an ability that you need to be in a certain spot. You need to be in like a good camping spot, and that's not my playstyle. My playstyle is move around everywhere. I like to explore the map. I don't, especially in survival runs, I don't like to camp it out. I'll stay in like maybe 1 or 2 small areas, but I'm constantly moving. That's why I didn't like the whole stay in the corner with the Redeemer Prime thing with Avara. Sure, you can easily go 24 hours straight like that, but it's boring. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about Xaku. He is great. He has been improved, and I really cannot wait to see what else improvements happen to him. Oh, also, speaking of improvements, obviously, you could use Pax Bolt on your kick gun. Go for it. I think that'd be perfectly fine, because then you could have a bit more flexibility in your build. Growing power, other things like that. I don't have growing power. If I did, I would definitely put it on him, because then that would solve basically all my problems without being able to completely remove armor and shields. But that's okay. So, that's Xaku. Is he worth it? Yes. He's still a pain in the ass to get your hands on, though, because of the materials you need. But they're not that bad, to be honest. So, I would recommend him, especially now. Before the buffs, no, I would not recommend. After the buffs, yes, I would. He's versatile. He's pretty fun, and he's kind of cool and kind of unique. thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, in Trophy, we trust.